So if you're an online business owner and your business isn't growing consistently, it's the reason is like even if you're probably working hard, like you're probably working really hard, but you're just working on the wrong things. All right, that's real. That's why, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, they work hard too. All right, they still work long hours, like you probably work long hours. But obviously they have way more leverage. All right, the activities they're working on are different. Now, obviously, it's a vastly different situation. They have a whole company with hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of employees on their team working with them. That definitely helps. But even as a small business owner, if it's just you or it's you and like a VA, you can still work on higher leverage activities, right? Activities that really will move the needle the most compared to everything else. And is going to reveal what are those activities you can work on and should be working on if you want to consistently grow your business. All right, so this is actually kind of an impromptu. I was literally in the middle of, I just filmed some ads and then I was going to write up some content. I was auditing outbound systems. I'm looking at these things that are really high leverage. And so let's break it down. What are the things that you shouldn't be working on, first of all? So the absolute worst things to work on would be like a logo or like, I don't know, changing your business name. Like those things don't matter at all. It's literally like, I think we're 16, 17 months into the existence of Acquisition Pilots, one of my companies, and literally like we don't have a logo. We don't, we still don't have a logo. Is that, unprofessional or something? Like, I don't care. And frankly, it does not matter. I've never had a client, like we're on a sales call. So imagine we're on a sales call and someone was like, oh, like, dude, where's your logo? Like, I'm not going to pay you unless you have, like, no one cares. No one cares about a logo. And so please don't spend time on doing things like that, like a logo or making things like look prettier sometimes. Like obviously sometimes that helps, like quality is something, but like even like taking one of these YouTube videos, I'm just filming this on my iPhone, like selfie mode. I actually found like some of these videos are the ones that perform the best. Like maybe it has something to do with authenticity, but honestly, like this is just the easiest way to film for me. So I just do it. And like, that's the thing that you got to realize is you have to figure out just how can you produce as many high leverage activities as possible? How can you just put all of your time, energy, and attention into those things? Now, let's stop messing around. Let's actually talk. What are those things? What are the core things you need to do to actually build and grow your business consistently? Here's what they are. There's 3 of them. All right. So the first one is lead generation. And honestly, for most people, if you're under like 30, under like really 50K a month in your business, then this should honestly be like the number one focus. And the reason for that is lead generation, literally, it helps improve every other aspect of the business. Let me explain. So if you have consistent call bookings, where you're booking 30, 40, 50 calls a month at least, if you're a solopreneur, that's a good amount of volume on the lead generation side of things for your sales process. Or so you get more reps with the sales process overall. So that means you get more data, you get more feedback from the market. And obviously you're going to get better with more reps yourself as well. You're going to become better at sales. So that's huge. So more lead gen helps the sales process. And then also, it also helps fulfillment and the coaching process as well, because you get more clients, you get more client feedback, and you can directly iterate the product more and more and more based on direct client feedback, or you need client feedback to make your product and service better and better. And so for those of you really under 50K a month, lead gen should be the number one focus because it improves those other 2 big pillars of the business, which are sales and fulfillment. All right, so that's the big 3, lead gen, sales, and fulfillment. All right, so that's literally like all I do, like all the time is just lead gen, sales, or fulfillment. Like that's it. That's all I'm working on. And typically it's more focused on like one of those 3. And so let me explain. So you want to like put literally 95% of your effort and energy and attention towards the one constraint in your business. Like what's the one thing that if you fix this one thing, if you like double the activity here, if you triple it, then you're going to triple your business. All right, you want to look for those asymmetric returns. All right, so for example, right now in Acquisition Pilot, our sales process is really freaking dialed. Like we're closing a very high percentage. And it's really good, it's really consistent. And so for me right now, there's no focus on really improving the sales process or iterating it or studying it and skilling up because it's so good right now. We're way above like KPI and where we want it to be at a minimum. So there's no need to improve it. We're just gonna keep on doing what we're doing because it's working really well. So that's an example of something that I don't really want to work on. All right, I just want to keep on doing kind of like status quo because we have the process dialed in. All right, but other things for me are more high leverage right now are going to be like lead gen and then also the product. The product's really high leverage because, I mean, We're at the point right now where, we're making pretty solid revenue. We're just about ready for like hyperscale, all right, to scale into, multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in revenue. And so I want the product to be insanely good. We've gotten really good feedback. I've just been updating the product these past months, time and time again. We're getting just like better and better feedback. And I want it to be amazing. I want it to be the best product in the marketplace, because that's what you want. Like when you're on the brink of like 100K a month, which is where we're at right now in acquisition pilot. We're about to hit that. You want your product to be really good, because that's when you get like the what's it called? The explosion, the exponential positive word of mouth to work for you. All right, because if we can get that, then we can there's like rocket fuel, like just boom. Like it's gonna be really powerful. All right, when you have a really good product, you have positive word of mouth, everyone starts to talk about it, and then it just goes crazy. And so that's where we're at right now. So I'm working very heavily on the product. Lead gen, I'm also working to scale this up, as we're going to be working to expand our sales team. So we're going to make sure like, hey, our lead gen, our call booking systems are more scalable. Making sure I'm auditing those things constantly. We're launching new ads, getting consistent on that. And so those are my main focuses right now based on the current constraints of the business. So there's not really too many constraints. Like we're trying to book more calls, get that system up, and then obviously just improve the products. So like no death threatening bottleneck, but this is obviously how it looks like as you scale your business. When you're starting out, when you're under 20K a month or so, which is where probably most of you watching this are at, I mean, usually you have just like an absurdly obvious bottleneck, and for most of you, it's going to be lead gen. All right, you could have a sales problem as well, where you're booking a lot of calls, but then you just like can't close them. That could be going on. But honestly, like even if that's the case, I would just focus more on lead gen, because lead gen, like I said, is the number one thing, the most asymmetrical activity you can do to improve all other areas of the business. So you have more leads, that's already helps lead gen, and it's going to help your sales process as well with more reps, more data. It's going to help your fulfillment as well with more client feedback. So lead gen is also the number one thing I would do if you're under 50K a month. Like that's the number one thing. You got to have that consistent system. And so another like red flag I'll tell you here is a lot of people will say, this is kind of like off tangent, but this will definitely apply to you regarding lead generation. And so a lot of people say like, oh, well, I'm doing a lot of things to book calls, but it's just like, it's inconsistent, it's up and down, like it's not predictable. And that's a clear red flag, because what that means is you probably don't have like a real system. You're doing things, but it's not like systemized. It's not a consistent thing where you can pull a lever and book calls. So it's not like inputs to outputs. You're probably, creating some content. Maybe you're sending out some messages, some DMs or something. Maybe you dabbled in some paid ads, but it's just like kind of like all over the place. You're probably getting some good referrals, but there's no predictable system. And so that's where the problem lies. You want a system where you literally you can put in inputs, you can do XYZ activities, and for a fact you're gonna get outputs, you're gonna get calls booked from doing that. That's what you want. And so what do you need for that? You need basically to track data. So you need to be able to do an action and then track what metrics you get back from that, what conversion rates happen. And so when you have metrics, you can create predictability. So I know for a fact if I send 100 messages out, I know how many calls I'm going to book from that based on data. So our systems are hyper predictable. Like we know for a fact, we can literally project month by month how many calls we're going to book, how many calls we're going to close, everything A to Z because of data. And so that's probably the number one thing you need to start doing if you're not doing already, is collecting data, tracking metrics. Hugely important. Hugely important. Now back to the topic of this video, asymmetrical activities and basically what to work on. So overall, lead gen, sales, and fulfillment. Those are the big three. All right, so please stop working on other things that really just don't matter. Like they don't move the needle. And get hyper-focused with this. All right, get hyper-focused on this. Usually for lead gen, that is just focus on like one big system. So there's usually content, there's outbound, and there's ads. If you're under 20K a month, I really wouldn't dabble in ads too much typically. So you have content and messages. I would just go ham on those and track everything like crazy until you have a predictable system where you can just simply scale it up, simply do more, create more content, send more messages, and boom, you're gonna book more and more calls. That's what you need to have. All right, so start tracking everything like crazy and create that predictable system. I hope this video helped overall kind of re-steer your focus, because focus, again, like I said at the beginning, is the number one thing you have. Because the difference between you and guys doing 100, 200, 300, 500K a month is simply they're focused on different activities. They're doing activities that give them more leverage, give them more bang for their buck. Okay, so that is the video. If you are an online coach and you want to work together one-on-one, I do have a few spots open. So basically what we'll do, we'll work together one-on-one to scale your business. I'll give you all my systems, SOPs, scripts for everything to book you just an absurd amount of calls and really help you scale up. So if you want that, go ahead, click the link below and we can chat about it. If not, thank you for watching so much. You're amazing. You're cool. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.